presence of the player. I'm not comparing the forward line of 2008 is even remotely similar to the forward line now. What I am saying, though, is that Rooney, Tevez and Ronaldo would have been proud of the quality of the goal that was scored at the Hill Dickinson Stadium by Benjamin Sesko. The way that the three forward players linked up, Manchester United revitalised their front line in the summer. They gave Ruben Amorim a very expensive, newly assembled and largely Premier League proven new front line to utilise and deploy in the Premier League. And Ruben Amorim made a pig's ear of it. Suddenly we saw what should have been happening since August. Suddenly we saw the vision of Cunha, the driving force of Mbeumo and the finishing properties of Benjamin Sesko. It was simply breathtaking football. And the bottom line, Manchester United look like Manchester United again. Do you know how important it is for a club to have an identity? Do you know how important it is for a club to be true to their spirit? A club to be true to their DNA. Now, I don't know if you ever heard Gary Neville talk about this, but it really was fascinating. He couldn't articulate exactly what he meant, but it made total sense. He said that he didn't know how to describe what Manchester United are. He didn't have the vocabulary. He didn't know exactly how to put it into words, what Manchester United are supposed to represent. But when he sees it, he knows. Now, that goal that we saw at the Hill Dickinson was Manchester United. It was the power of Manchester United. It was everything that Manchester United are supposed to be. Rapid, counter-attacking football. Brave, expansive, risk-taking football. That, my friend, is Manchester United. That is exactly who Manchester United are supposed to be. Now, of course, people love to focus on the mistakes that I make, the predictions that I get wrong. Erling Haaland is the one that will always come to mind. But when I said that Michael Carrick was going to be an excellent Manchester United manager, this is what I meant. I said that he will make them feel like Manchester United again. At a time when Ruben Amorim disjointed them. He erased the culture of the club. He did everything that he could to sanitise that football club. Michael Carrick is the antidote. Michael Carrick is the tonic. Michael Carrick is what Manchester United need. Ruben Amorim did his best to ruin that fabric. You know, the owners of the club don't really seem to have the true essence of what the club is supposed to represent in their heart. And even some of the players in recent years, you know, you think of Garnacho, they didn't seem to chime with the spirit of Manchester United. Suddenly, in comes Carrick. Michael Carrick will go in and he will make the Stretford end sing again. The Stretford end will be in total and utter unison because of Michael Carrick. They will pledge unilateral, aggressive support to Michael Carrick because he knows who they are. Michael Carrick understands what Manchester United are supposed to be. He understands the history of the club. He knows exactly who the Holy Trinity are. And anyone that's been to Manchester United Stadium, anyone that's been to Old Trafford as an away fan or a home fan, the second that you get there, you see that Holy Trinity, you see the signing lights, you know that you're somewhere special. You know that you are at one of the cathedrals of football. You know, when you think of the cathedrals of football in the world, Old Trafford is one of them. You can name them, can't you? The Bombonera, the Maracanã, Wembley Stadium, Old Trafford, Anfield, Stamford Bridge. You know, you can do it. Obviously, the Bernabeu, the Nou Camp, you can do it. And Manchester United is one of those. And there is no doubt about it that Michael Carrick is built and he has the DNA and the blood of Manchester United coursing through his veins. He knows exactly how great Sir Bobby Charlton was. He knows exactly what Bobby Charlton did for Manchester United. He knows the legend and the tragedy of Duncan Edwards. Put bluntly, Michael Carrick is Manchester United. Michael Carrick gets Manchester United. Michael Carrick represents Manchester United so perfectly. He will harmonise the club. Suddenly the fans will be totally backing the manager rather than having this discourse around should the manager be at Manchester United. He will at least dilute the antipathy towards the ownership because it's about supporting the team, supporting the manager and loving that manager. He will understand the club. So bringing in someone who totally gets the club and is a representation of the former glory, someone who knows what the standards of the club are supposed to be, I just think it's so important. Like Michael Carrick played in what is probably Manchester United's greatest ever team. According to Gary Neville, who played in the 2 treble-winning teams.
I've got a question for you. When you think of the word Forex, what comes to mind? Currencies like USD, Euro, Japanese Yen. And when it comes to Forex trading, you probably think of high risk, high reward, lots of volatility, a dangerous way to make money, and all kinds of things to do with risk. Well, you know, you're right to a certain extent. My name is Alexis. And
the 2008 team, in which Michael Carrick was pivotal, was the best team. He played alongside icons of the club. He played alongside the greatest Manchester United player of all time, Ryan Giggs. He played alongside Paul Scholes, who won 11 league titles with the club. He played alongside Wayne Rooney, who is probably the Premier League greatest ever player. He played alongside Cristiano Ronaldo, who is arguably the greatest ever footballer to have lived. So he knows what it is supposed to be. So getting someone like him, it makes complete and utter sense to me. And the impact that Michael Carrick is having shouldn't surprise anyone. They sit 3 points clear of us and we're in 5th. He sits 3 points above Chelsea as we are going into the business end of the season. Manchester United only have one focus. They can wait game after game for their Premier League fixtures to come along, and they can totally focus on it. I think it's fair to say that Manchester United now will make it into the Champions League spots, and that most certainly wasn't the case under Ruben Amorim. And the best thing that you can say about Michael Carrick, the thing that is so important about Michael Carrick, all of this talk about 4th, I'm saying Manchester United are going to finish 4th. A lot of people will be happy with that, considering that the targets have had to change. We've had to quell the actual ambitions of that club. I think a lot of people will say 4th is success. Carrick won't. Carrick won't be looking at 4th as success. All this talk about finishing in the top 5. Do you think that inspires Michael Carrick? A man who spent his entire Manchester United career trying to win league and European cups. This is why you want someone like him in. Someone who's ambitious, someone who knows what the club is supposed to represent. And now, don't get me wrong, the performance against Everton, it wasn't stellar. It wasn't historic. It isn't one that we talk about in a year's time. It isn't one we'll talk about in a week's time. But there is a compliment in that. Just getting the job done. You know where you go, win next. Win next. And that's basically what Michael Carrick is doing since he's been there. There's been the emotional victories, the emotional victory over City, the emotional victory over Arsenal. But sometimes you just got to get the job done. And do you remember Michael Carrick very intelligently spoke about the importance of the Fulham game off the back of the 2 emotional rollercoaster games? He was right. Fulham was the biggest game and they found a victory. This was similar. Just winning 1-0 away at Everton. That is what you were supposed to do. It is supposed to be slightly a trudging affair, a difficult affair, up against the likes of Tarkowski and Branthwaite. It's not going to be picturesque. It's not going to be cinematic. Sometimes it's just about getting the job done. And Carrick has achieved 5 victories and a draw from 6 Premier League games. That makes Manchester United the form team of the league, by the way. 5 wins out of 6 games, undefeated. That is absolutely stellar coaching. And the ugly wins are so necessary. And anyone that is dismissing talk of Michael Carrick taking the job full time is completely missing the point. That sort of record should enhance his opportunities of getting the job. And to be totally frank, I think he should be well considered for this. You know, I was on TalkSport the other night. I was with Flex from the United View. And we were discussing something that I think is so important to what Michael Carrick has done. Now, just before we go any further, could you do me a massive favour? Could you please click subscribe if you're enjoying this video? It really helps me out. I would love to welcome you into this community. Thank you so much. Now, the debate that I was having with Flex was about the managerial genius of Michael Carrick, but revolving around the contribution of Benjamin Sesko. Flex was arguing that Benjamin Sesko deserves to start games. He's been scoring, he's having a major impact, a major decisive centre-forward-like impact at Manchester United, and he therefore should be deployed from the start. I was arguing that that isn't the way to do it. Benjamin Sesko needs to be protected. He needs to be overprotected. He was thrown to the wolves slightly under Ruben Amorim, and he now needs to be totally closeted. I mean, you can have your opinions on it, but what I think Flex and I, who had a different position in terms of whether he should be starting, would agree on, is that Benjamin Sesko is a microcosm to demonstrate quite how brilliantly Michael Carrick has done. I think it is the best thing that he has done for the club. Like dedicating time to make the £75 million centre-forward comfortable. Dedicating time, effort, precision to making sure that your starlet up front is feeling comfortable. Because under Ruben Amorim, that most certainly wasn't the case. And Carrick got Travis Binion working diligently with Benjamin Sesko to make him feel comfortable. He amended the shape. He moved Brian Mbeumo to play as a lone centre-forward so that they didn't have to rely on Benjamin Sesko, and then they could bring on Benjamin Sesko when maybe the opposition was worn, maybe the time was right. It is such an intelligent thing to do. Don't put the kid up front. Don't pin the hopes of a massive behemoth club like Manchester United on a kid like Benjamin Sesko. The way that Amorim did to Rasmus Højlund, to be fair. Like, bring Sesko on when the opposition are worn and tired. It's such a good example of excellent management. Anyway, right, that debate that Flex and I were having as to whether he should start or not. 5 goals in 6 games at the time was a really healthy return. And Flex was saying that against Everton, he simply has to start. My take was absolutely not. He isn't ready to lead the line for Manchester United. He isn't ready to face the challenge of Keane and Tarkowski. It's not the game to start him. It just isn't the right opportunity. I think that he isn't ready to be deployed as a main centre-forward, but he is ready to come on and have a major impact on the game and potentially bag the winner. And weirdly, it was a new feeling for me, this. I don't quite know how to feel about this, but I was completely and utterly spot on.
Traditional massage will not give the kind of effectiveness as coaching can give. It really helped to loosen up all.
6 goals in 7 games for Benjamin Sesko under Michael Carrick. 6 goals in 7 games for Benjamin Sesko under Michael Carrick. He scored 2 in 17 under Ruben Amorim. I mean, I don't think that we need to go over this again, but sometimes I feel like I just need to make the point. Ruben Amorim is the worst Manchester United manager of all time. It is a disgrace that he ever got the opportunity to hold the reins of that great club. It is a disgrace that somebody so limited had the opportunity to manage a formerly great club. I cannot believe what a charlatan he is. I cannot believe what a fraud he is. I cannot believe the disdain that he has shown for Manchester United's fans, and I cannot believe that Manchester United fans backed him to the hilt. There is a compliment in there. Backing your manager is something to potentially be proud of, but on this one, their loyalty was just proved to be so incorrect. I mean, Carrick is doing so well, and one of the biggest things that Carrick is doing is he is slowly starting to overwhelm Amorism. You know, the ideology of Ruben Amorism, if we see it as an ideology, Carrickism is gently trying to overwhelm the force that was Ruben Amorim. And, you know, bit by bit, game by game, it's happening. We are casting Ruben Amorim into the ash heap of Premier League history. And for that, every football fan should be pleased. And Michael Carrick is doing his bit there. Like, I use Sesko as an example. Like, Sesko won't want to be labelled a super sub. I don't think that's the way he'll want to be seen. But Manchester United have a very rich history of super subs. A very rich history of super subs that have done wonderful things for the club. And his time will come. But at the moment, I think that he should just be protected. Keep him on the bench like a coiled spring, ready to launch into the attack. Because he's doing such a good job. He is scoring such big goals. You know, he isn't coming on and scoring the 4th in a 5-0 win. He is scoring goals that are directly leading to points on the board for Manchester United. Think about it. Think about it. He gets the winner against Everton. Gets the winner against Fulham. Scores that amazing equaliser at West Ham United. That's 7 points right there for Manchester United as a direct result of the contribution of Benjamin Sesko and the shrewd managerial ability of Michael Carrick. And I just think it's so big for Carrick. I really do. Because quite often managers, rightly or wrongly, will be sacked if they can't get their big money players playing well. That's what happens. You are, as a manager, responsible to get the shiny new toy playing well. That's how it works. One of the major reasons that Frank Lampard lost his job at Chelsea under Roman Abramovich was because he couldn't get a tune out of someone as average as Timo Werner. That's what happened. Frank Lampard couldn't get a tune out of Kai Havertz. He arrived with no position. Timo Werner arrived and would definitely go into a worst all-time Chelsea 11. But Frank Lampard paid with his job. If Michael Carrick couldn't get a tune out of Mbermo, Cunha, Sesko, he would pay with his job. But to his credit, he is finding an answer. And Carrick getting a song out of a £75 million man, I think it's huge. And I do have a warning for Manchester United fans about what we are witnessing here. Sometimes when you're invested, sometimes when you're there and, you know, you've been struggling for managers since Sir Alex Ferguson left, I don't think you always see it. 99% of times when you talk about a football club, listen to the fans of the football club. Listen to Adam McCullough when you want to learn about Manchester United. Listen to Flex. Listen to Mark Goldbridge. Whoever you choose. Listen to Stephen Howson. Listen to Jay Motti. They're the people to listen to, right? But there is 1% of the time when they're all so invested that they don't see the wood for the trees. Sometimes from the outside looking in, you get a different perspective because you're not emotional about it. Carrick is doing a wonderful job. Carrick is doing amazing things. And anyone that wants to talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer once being an interim manager who got the job, signed the thing, is completely and utterly missing the point. Michael Carrick should be judged by his own yardstick. And the warning is this: if you do not respect and understand and reward the contribution that Michael Carrick is giving to your football club, someone else will. I guarantee you, so many clubs, big clubs, will be looking at what Michael Carrick is doing. He is changing the culture of the club. The changing culture is resulting in performances on the pitch. You don't think Tottenham are looking at that? Carrick played for Tottenham as well, by the way. You don't think Tottenham are looking at that? You don't think basically every club in the country is aware of the contribution of Michael Carrick? They've seen the change in Kobe Mainoo. They've seen the ease at which he's gone into arguably the biggest club in the land, probably the biggest club in the land. You don't think other clubs are watching this? And what I would say is, be very careful, because he's finding a way. Various points this season, in fact, Manchester United have felt like a little bit of a one-man team. Bruno Fernandes. If Bruno Fernandes doesn't play well, can Manchester United win? Bruno Fernandes had a stinker, Manchester United won. They're helping each other out. They're becoming Manchester United again. Carrick is finding solutions. And look, you want to talk about him not getting the job and the spirit that bores me. I'm not even going to do it again. The Ole Gunnar Solskjaer thing. Carrick deserves this job. He just does. And anyone, apart from Luis Enrique, should be behind him in the queue. Like, if you wanted to tell me Luis Enrique is going to go to Man United, fine. But apart from him, Carrick is ahead of Glasner. Miles ahead of Glasner. Miles ahead of Iraola. Miles ahead of Tuchel. Miles ahead of Pochettino. Miles. He's done it. He's doing it. Witness it. It's my 2 penneth on the situation anyway. As always, lovely cup of rosy. Thank you for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, would you do me an honour, please, and click subscribe? I would love to welcome you into this community. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you would be really kind, why not give it a like and some hype points? I don't even know what they do, but if you give them, I'll be ever grateful. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Ta-da!